And we are live. This is another edition of DT Live. This is a rather early stream for me. I normally do these things later in the evening. This is 8:45 a.m. Sunday morning here in the Central Time Zone in the US for me. So we might get a little different crowd here on a live stream rather than the usual crowd that shows up for my late in the evening streams that I typically do. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to take a look at the new Korora 28 Xfce edition. And we'll give folks a few minutes to get here before I get into a proper review. It won't be much of a review. I actually just downloaded the ISO, installed it about 5 minutes before clicking the stream button. So we're just going to take a look at it. The main thing here is the fact that Korora is in fact back. Korora, for those that have been following the news, Korora was actually a dead project there for a little bit. The main devs pretty much quit the project. You know, they were taking a hiatus. The, I guess, original creator, a fellow named Chris, who started the project way back in like the early 2000s, back when Korora was still based on Gentoo, then of course switched to basing it on Fedora. You know, he left the project a little while ago, and then shortly after he left, one of the other main devs left the project. So Korora, again, was pretty much a dead project. It is dropped off the DistroWatch Top 100 page hit rankings. Korora is nowhere to be found in the DistroWatch Top 100, which is surprising because I think Korora is one of the best new user-friendly distros out there. Certainly the best Fedora-based Linux distribution, in my opinion. So I'm glad to see it back. The community rallied and decided this thing, we're not going to let it die. And you know, the community always has its way here in Linux. So these guys are going to try to keep it going, the community. And see, a few of you guys are already in the chat. Rose, how you doing? Good morning, Rose. Poison says it's 2:45 p.m. here. And hey. Hey, Poison. Ron Lee, he's in the house. And Michael says hi. Element Finland. Hello. Hello to you, Element. Joel says good morning. Good morning. And Burajira. Hope I pronounced that right. It's Korora. Okay. The McBird is here. I can't help but to wonder why you lived your life as a big fat lie. Interesting. Good morning. Flame Dash. Okay. How you doing, Flame Dash? Gibran's here. Alan Pope. How you doing, Alan? 1547 over here in Vienna. Nice. Yeah, he's waving from the KDE conference. Academy with a K. Why am I not surprised that they had to add a K somewhere in there? Jarko. Yeah. Yeah. MB, what coffee are you drinking? My standard brew here. It's called Joe. J-O-E. Joe. Pretty good coffee, pretty decent coffee for the price. They make a few different versions. They make one in a red bag, which is the one I drink. Joe in the red bag is a medium roast. They do a brown bag too that is a dark roast. The dark roast is not bad too if you like dark roast coffee. Medium roast coffee though has a little more caffeine in it. Yeah, let's see who else we got in the chat. Tears Falling says hi. How you doing? Oh, Ulysses, hi from Brazil. How you doing? Bad Wolf, good morning. Philippe, hello, dear Derek. Hello, dear Philippe. Andy says hi. Harish is here. How you doing, Harish? Yeah, the weekends are too short. Yeah, Poison, apparently he likes his dark roast. Flame Dash, I guess he doesn't like coffee at all. That's unfortunate. If you do Linux, you kind of have to like coffee. If you don't like it, you need to learn to love it, though. Especially for some of these distros. Michael drinks Nespresso. Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that Ghost BSD didn't work out for you. I'm actually communicating with the devs almost all the time on Telegram. Are you on there? No, I don't use Telegram. I guess I should. Everybody seems to use Telegram. I'm not on there. And it's not because it's, you know, not free and open source software. It's, I mean, I can use proprietary software. I often do when I need to. It's just, I've never used Telegram. I guess I should put it on my PC, though. I know there's a Telegram client in the Arch repos. I'm still on Manjaro here on my main production machine. Of course, I can put the Telegram app on my mobile device. As far as Ghost BSD not working out for me, yeah, I mean, I probably could have eventually fixed my problems, but it was such a nightmare. The fact that all the USB devices, a lot of them wouldn't work. The main one, my microphone, the camera was also giving me problems. I mean, for what I do, you know, making videos on YouTube, it's kind of a deal breaker when you can't get some of that stuff to work. I spent, a good 3 or 4 days, though, really trying to fix a lot of the problems I was having in Ghost BSD, because I really wanted to make it work. So I gave it a good, honest effort. And it was just too much stuff to overcome. Ultimately, I was able to fix most of the problems. It was just, I never could get this Blue Yeti microphone to work, ever. So, no matter what I did. So, I thought we had audio problems in Linux. Boy, the BSD guys, they've got some issues with it too. Yeah, Rose is having fun in the Philippines. Cool. Yeah, Alex is here. Alex, you're in Italy. Very good, sir. Yeah. Chock full of nuts, dark setting. I guess it's Bad Wolf's coffee. Cool. Yeah, Poison says he trusts Telegram over WhatsApp any day of the week. Yeah, I don't really use WhatsApp either. But so many of you guys are on Telegram, I guess I should install it and check it out. See what it's all about. I've never used Telegram. Don't know anything about it. DT, will you make an i3 tutorial video? Yeah, I'm going to do some more stuff with i3. Eventually. And you're going to keep seeing, you know, tiling window manager stuff on the channel. I'll still keep doing stuff with OpenBox as well. You guys know I love OpenBox. McBird's in Thailand. Very cool. Yeah, and Ghost BSD, yeah, they're now basing off of TrueOS. That's correct, instead of FreeBSD. Yeah, Gibran says you can make a DistroTube group on Telegram, like Discord. Okay. And Jim Acklaw is here. Good morning, Jim. Good morning, Paul. Paul says Debian is love. He's right. Debian is love. Ron Lee, Namib has a new version out. Yeah, I might have to check that out too. McBird, he likes Dragon BSD. What I mean is I like the name, not the install process. Okay. And Flame Dash is in New York. What do I think about the NSA crypto module in the kernel? I don't know much to think about that just yet. I mean, does anybody really know what's going on with that? I mean, is it really, you know, something evil or malicious? But I do know you can turn it off. I mean, if you don't want to use that particular module, you can just disable it. And it's pretty simple to do. So, if you're worried about it, yeah, just get rid of it. And if enough people are worried about it and there's big enough outcry from the community, most distros are just going to ship with a kernel without that module in it anyway. So, let's see, would it be incredibly intrusive to ask you for your RSS feed? Are you asking me for an RSS feed? What, from YouTube? Let's see. Luxembourg Radio exists, but not the old station we all used to listen to. Any thoughts on Chrome OS being able to install Linux apps? Yeah, I think that's great. I think that's going to make Chrome OS, you know, even more popular than it already is. Chrome OS. Of course, Chromebooks are selling like crazy. I think it's interesting that Chrome OS, they're wanting to install Deb apps though, even though Chrome OS is based on Gentoo, which is strange because Google, I know their in-house Linux distros were all Deb based or Ubuntu based, but when they made Chrome OS, they decided to build that on Gentoo. Yeah, the Chrome OS is a Linux kernel. That's correct, Paul. It's essentially GNU / Linux. We may not like to admit that, but yeah, you start digging into it. Yeah, I mean it's all there. Now the desktop experience is kind of lacking. I mean, it's essentially the browser. Yeah, Alice says, glad to make the live stream. All right. Well, I'm gonna mark my spot in the chat here. We are going to take a look at Korora 28 Xfce is the one I pulled down here. So basically, for those that are not familiar with the story, I'll read a little bit from the Korora blog here. As most people will know, the Korora team has been having a break for the last few months. So basically, the main guys behind Korora, it was a small development team, but there were a couple of guys in particular that both were taking a hiatus from the project. They no longer had time to, the time and energy to devote to the project. I mean, it's a lot of work maintaining a Linux distro. So anyway, it basically, when these guys left, Korora was essentially dead, right? Korora, we all assumed there would never be another release of Korora. It dropped off the DistroWatch top 100 page hit rankings. You won't find Korora anywhere in the top 100 on DistroWatch. But then all of a sudden, a few days ago, we get this blog post here that one of our community members wasn't happy about this, about Korora no longer being around, and stepped up and he produced a Korora 28 release. We welcome the support and ask that the rest of the community help out by testing the ISO and providing feedback. And one of the contributors helping is this guy called J Maya Man. I hope I pronounced that right. Anyway, he actually posted something on his personal blog, basically how he contacted the devs and offered to help them out. And I guess he is one of the guys that really created this Xfce spin we're going to take a look at today. But if you click on the links here for their ISOs, it looks like they've already got live ISOs for GNOME KDE and Xfce. Now, the blog here warns that they're all very much beta. So there you go with that. The Xfce, though, is the one they're really touting because that's the one that this guy that initially, really got the ball rolling here, he focused on. And from what I've heard, it's very good. They say it's, again, beta. It's really, you should treat it as a beta for now, but everybody seems to think it's pretty good from what I've seen. So I'm going to take a look at it, just a quick look at it. I've already run through the installation. No need to run through the installation on camera. You guys have seen Fedora installs before, the Anaconda installer. It just works. The install process took, I don't know, 15 minutes, maybe less. Very quick install. Matter of fact, every time I install Korora, one of the things I always mention is how fast this install is. Especially for what you get. The ISO was 2.4 gigs in size, so there's going to be a lot of stuff here. Let me type in my super secure password to log in. All right, and of course we have our really, really beautiful desktop. This is kind of what Korora is known for, just a gorgeous desktop experience. Appreciate the super chat, Harish. He says, Namaste. I'm not sure what that means, but LOL. I know what LOL means, and appreciate that, Harish. Thank you, buddy. And, oh, I am not on the right screen. Let me get back to Korora. All right, so we have our greeter here. Welcome, this is Korora. Under documentation, of course, you have your README, new features, Xfce help. We do have a support button here we could click. I'm not exactly sure what that would do. Would that take us to a web forum or IRC chat channel? It opens up Firefox. And it takes us to KororaProject.org, so the Korora website. Okay, I guess they have their forum here. Very cool. And I hate how Firefox always has to ask me, do I want to close multiple tabs? Yes. And then we have links to how to contribute to the Korora project for those that want to contribute money or contribute time to the project. And you guys that are interested in that stuff, of course, the project is hurting. They really need devs. They also need people just to test these ISOs. They mentioned these ISOs, these fresh spins, these community spins. They really want people to live in them. You guys that have especially extra machines, and if you can test this out on real hardware and live in it for a few weeks, that would help them, getting to the point where these things are actually ready for the official Korora 28 release. All right, so I'm just going to close that greeter. The first impression you get here is, wow, this is a gorgeous GNOME desktop environment. Oh, but wait, I downloaded the Xfce version of this, and that is in fact what we have. I mean, if I click this menu, yeah, that is the Xfce menu. This here, is this some kind of dock? If I click Control and right click the mouse, no, this is not Plank. It says panel, so this is an Xfce panel. They just have a second panel here on the left hand side, kind of mimicking a dock. Pretty cool. Gorgeous wallpaper, by the way. Anyway, first impressions. That's one of the reasons I really have always loved Korora, is Fedora out of the box, regardless of the version of Fedora, but especially the GNOME version of Fedora, is very plain, very vanilla. Nothing to it, no extensions. It's just GNOME as the GNOME developers intended. Fedora, not attractive. You really have to install some extra software as soon as you get it installed to have a proper desktop experience in mainline Fedora. Korora, for the most part, I liken to what Linux Mint used to be for Ubuntu, or what Gecko Linux is for OpenSUSE. Korora fills that role for Fedora. Getting back to the chat, let me catch up with some of you guys in the chat here. And William Armstrong is in the house. Boris is here. How to enter GUI on the live CD. When I start Slacks, I get stuck. Some login password screen. Can some of you guys help this newbie? I've never used Slacks. I don't know anything about it. See, I've been using Arch and Debian with i3. Says Jarko, yeah. If you're using Arch, you probably should be using i3 because that's the meme. That's what everybody, it seems, that uses Arch. I get so tired of Arch with i3. Everybody. But you're using i3 on Debian too. That's awesome. Kind of breaking the mold there. Yeah, Xfce is still GTK2, so I wouldn't try it. Is Xfce still on GTK2? I thought they were already past that. And of course, we got our super chat here. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, Jim is having network problems today. Yeah, hopefully things are all right on my end. As far as the stream, yeah, the stream health looks good on the network here at my place. So yeah, try i3. i3 is always a good recommendation for folks that like the keyboard. Brian says, or LXQt. LXQt, doing great. Becoming much more mature here lately. Yeah, Tier says, looks nice. Yeah, this is the Korora desktop. Really, really nice. Just as far as look and feel, yeah, it's just an attractive, it's a well polished product. Very professional. Yeah, it looks excellent. Yeah. I might get it to replace my Fedora 27 partition. Yeah. Well, again, it's still kind of beta software, so you may not want, if you got a working Fedora 27 and things are working, you may not rush to wipe it out. But I certainly wouldn't discourage you from taking a look at it. Maybe run it on a live USB stick, run it in a VM, or if you got an extra drive, throw it on an extra hard drive. All right. Yeah, William, thank you for the super chat, William. Thank you, buddy. Mugen says, I'm having network issues too. Is everyone having network issues this morning? Full disclosure, I use Comcast, and it's not the greatest. Tim says, good morning, DT, and we'll be donating soon, brother. Have a great show. Thank you, Tim O. And of course, I have to say Tim O because there's like 15 Tims usually in this chat. But not today. Tim O is the only Tim this morning. So I tripped the other Tims up by doing this early morning stream. They don't know we're here yet. Yeah, Michael says, I'm on Optimum. So, yeah, Comcast has data caps. That's true. Yeah, so Namaste is like hello in Indian. Okay. Weekly NSA sweeps, yeah, with Comcast? Are they doing stuff like that? Well, you kind of have to trust your internet and cable provider, though. There's no way around that, unfortunately. Yeah. Yeah, Breadmoth, thanks for the super chat. No issue. Fiber to the premises here. Yeah, I wish I could do that. Yeah, we're going to tell you about the default apps in Korora 28. Just catching up on the chat here. So there's not a million things to get to later. You guys can be very talkative sometimes, and sometimes I never catch up on all the chat that I miss when I do these. Hi, DT says, DViz, yep. Paul, I trust my ISP as far as I can throw them. And Mugen's on AT&T, yeah. Jim, you saw my Q4OS review, yep. Q4OS is very nice. Very nice, lightweight, beautiful Trinity desktop environment. Basically, really nice Debian with Trinity, the old KDE 3.5 spinoff. All right, let's take a look at what is installed really quick here on Korora, because again, this ISO, 2.4 gigs, there's going to be a lot of stuff here, right? So I can resize this menu a little bit. I'm just going to break it down by category here under accessories. We have our application finder, backups. Let's see what backup utility they're using. Looks like the Deja Dupe utility, standard GNOME backup utility, but very nice. You see Deja Dupe in a lot of the Ubuntu's, so really nice for taking a snapshot of your system. Catfish file search, standard file search utility in Xfce. Clipman, which is our clipboard. I click that, now I have this icon here, and that is my clipboard manager. All right, disk. This would probably be our GNOME disk utility. Yeah. And I created a 15 gig drive in this virtual machine, a virtual hard drive. Let's see. Yeah. All right. And we have calculator also under accessories. Nice calculator. Calculator. Horrible name though. Why do we have to put a G in calculator? We have our on-screen keyboard. We have mousepad, your standard plain text editor for the Xfce desktop environment. Mousepad 0.4.1. And we have global time, show clocks from different countries. We have our own cloud desktop sync client. Okay, very cool. I actually do not use OwnCloud, but I know many of you do, so that is actually nice that they include that client on the ISO. Password and keys, screenshot. We have our X archiver. This is for zip, unzip, you know, tar, cheesy, that sort of thing. That's the standard archive utility for Xfce, X archiver. XF burn is here for burning CDs, DVDs, burning discs. And every time I mention that, people always say, why do they put a disc burner? Who uses CDs and DVDs anymore? And you know what? I actually still burn DVDs and CDs. I actually have this stack of DVDs, and a lot of them are actually Linux DVDs. Oh heck, this one here is Ubuntu 14.04.1, so kind of an old DVD. Wow, a lot of dust on them too flying around. So I guess I don't burn that many DVDs, but I do occasionally burn DVDs. Really what I keep CDs around for mainly is because my car still has a CD changer in it. So people still do burn discs. All right, under administration, we have DNF Dragora, which is a graphical front end for installing and removing. Okay. Okay, so this is kind of like our, almost like a Synaptic Package Manager, I guess. I don't know, software management. I'm not going to run an update here because it will suck up the network and cause the stream to buffer, but I'm sure I could update the system here. Matter of fact, I think the next thing in the list was just running the DNF Dragora updater, which probably launches the same tool, except it just goes straight to doing a system-wide update. And nothing launched, but it may be doing something in the background here. Let's see. Of course, we have our firewall. And let's see what firewall we are using. I'm not going to log in as root. I know if it's Fedora, they don't use the uncomplicated firewall, UFW. That's usually like the Ubuntu and Ubuntu-based distros. I think they're using is it FireGel? Is that the one? You Fedora fans will let me know in a second. Also under administration, we have language, login window, print settings, SE Linux management, configure SE Linux in a graphical setting. Probably have to log in as root to do that too. I guess I log in as root. I hate typing my super secure and complicated password over and over again though. Well, that's going to take a minute to launch. Probably because we are in a VM. Okay, so this is our graphical way of system config, system-config-se linux.py. So it's a Python app. Okay. And thank you for the super chat, Redmaw. Appreciate that, buddy. I love optical media. I have yet to get my hands on the fabled quad-layered Blu-ray disc. I have burned triple-layered Blu-ray discs, though. Also, side note, for some reason at first I thought you were Cajun because you are in Louisiana. I'm not Cajun, no. I would have a very different accent if I were. Let me quickly catch up on the chat again. A lot of chat went by just those couple of minutes. Yeah, Elvis says i3 still the best. A lot of people touting how good their internet is. A lot of you guys have good internet speeds. Korora is the male version of Korora. That's good to know, McBird. I just picked up my first NVMe M.2 drive. Have Arch running on it nicely. Very impressed. Yeah. I've thought about getting one of those, but are the speeds really that impressive on those things over your standard SSDs? In Linux, anyway. Yeah, Jarko, I've been using i3 so long that I forget how to use a desktop environment. Yeah, that's why I like doing these VMs and checking out things like Korora, Xfce, or, you know, GNOME, KDE, whatnot. If I didn't do these, I would never log into some of these desktop environments. I would never take a look at Plasma if it wasn't doing this channel. I'd just go ahead and tell you that now. I'd know nothing about what was going on with the KDE world. AT&T and Comcast Cox Cable Internet uses data caps as well. Paul, you don't have an optical drive in your PC? I don't anymore because I removed mine to put my IC dock in mine, but I do have a USB disk burner. So I didn't need the one in the computer anyway. It just happened to come with a optical drive. Mugen says there's 3 individuals on the network where he's at. 1 terabyte is very little in the grand scheme of things. Yes, it is. If you've got especially kids on your network and they're, you know, playing whatever they're playing on their phones and tablets, and it sucks up all the network. Yeah. Some Trinity desktop environment. Yeah. TDE. Yeah. It's a fork of the old KDE 3.5. Yeah. A lot of people really hated the move from KDE 3.5 to KDE 4. KDE 4 in the early days was real garbage. So a lot of people just wanted to keep KDE 3 going, so they forked it and created Trinity. And William Armstrong likes anime. Python 2 or 3 as far as that app. Yeah, we should check that out. I would hope most things by now have made the switch to Python 3. It's been around forever now. Yeah, Hink says, didn't your DT password get leaked before? That's right. When I installed, what was it? Was it SUSE or was it? No, I think it was Gecko, which is SUSE based. One of them accidentally leaked my password on camera. So now you guys know my super secure password. Yeah, Brett Moss says that's a Cajun review of Linux. Yeah. All right, I'm going to skip over some of the chat here. Yeah, Farron is here. How you doing, Farron? Yeah, the IC dock. Yeah, he has the 4 SSD. Neil does. I got the 6 dock, IC dock, 6-bay IC dock. Really like it. Joseph says, hi, Derek. How's it going? How you doing, Joseph? No, you're not late for the party. We really haven't done much of anything. I was just taking a look at Korora 28 Xfce, which is, I guess, the new, what will be the next version of Korora 28. That is still being maintained now by the community. The main devs, I guess, behind Korora. They're taking their little hiatus, and they really don't have time to maintain the project, so other people are stepping up. So they do have testing ISOs for GNOME, KDE, and Xfce. Xfce seemed to be the one that they were touting the most in their blog post that I read earlier. So it seems to be very well put together. Just, you know, taking a quick look at what's going on here. Looking at some of the stuff installed, documentation. There's not much here. Graphics. Oh, wow, we have quite a bit under graphics. We have the Cura Lulzbot edition. So for those of you that have a 3D printer, a Lulzbot 3D printer, I don't. Wish I did. They're not cheap. I know a lot of you guys are into this stuff now, 3D printing. And we have to, I guess, agree to some kind of user agreement here. Taking a minute to load up. I'll drink my coffee while I wait. Yeah, Paul says 3D printers are too cheap. Cheap in price or cheap in feel? Cheap in build quality. Anyway, you guys want to get a Lulzbot printer, you're ready to go here in Korora. Darktable is also installed for managing your photos. Let's see. Graphics. Document viewer. I guess our PDF viewer. GIMP is here, of course. I'm sure this would be GIMP 2.10. No, it's GIMP 2.8. So they haven't updated to the latest GIMP yet. That's interesting, because usually, you know, Fedora is kind of bleeding edge. Usually you expect very fresh packages for any release of Fedora. And I would expect the same for Korora, but they're still 2.8. I'm sure, though, we could update that to 2.10. I'm sure there's a way to pull down the latest GIMP. Inkscape is also here. LibreOffice Draw. Ristretto is our image viewer. Shotwell, that's another photo manager. Interesting, they have Shotwell on here too. And Darktable. Shotwell 0.28.4. We also had Simple Scan on the system for our scanning utility. Under Internet, The Kiga soft phone. I don't know what that is. That's the first time I think I've seen that. Yeah, I'm not sure. If I go through the assistant, voice over IP and video conferencing software. Okay. I might actually have to check that out at some point. I'm not familiar with that program. But I like video conferencing software, so we might check it out. Firefox is here. Let's see what version of Firefox we're on. Let's see if I go to help, about Firefox, 61.0.1. So yeah, pretty recent release of Firefox. Strange that we're still on GIMP 2.8 though. Hex chat is here for IRC chat. LifeRia here, that's a RSS newsfeed aggregator for those that like to do RSS news feeds. Pretty nice program if you've never checked that one out. Pigeon for instant messaging. Very few people do instant messaging anymore. They probably could just leave that off the ISO. Of course, I said, you know, most people don't really use optical drives anymore. Most people don't burn disks, but they still included that. Thunderbird is our email client. Transmission is our BitTorrent client. All right, catch back up with some of the chat before it gets out of hand. Yeah, Farron, you're working on icons. Nice. Mugen, I've been in the swamp and their accent is nothing like yours. You know, it's really, it's a different world, Cajun country. Different part of the state than where I'm in. They're typically, you know, in the southern part of the state, but really like the southwestern kind of part of the state. Yeah, DT, what is your favorite KDE distro? Asks Hank. Well, I don't use KDE. I'm not a big fan of KDE, but as far as if I was going to use KDE, what would be my favorite distro? As far as some of the stuff I've checked out on the channel, you know what? The Manjaro KDE edition was not bad. I actually lived in Manjaro KDE for a bit on the channel. You guys might remember if you've been following the channel since the beginning. You know what? Kubuntu is nice. I don't mind Kubuntu. Netrunner was not bad when I checked it out. Yeah, I would probably go with one of those. Yeah, it's a fork of KDE 3. We're still doing Trinity, yep. And I'm open to trying KDE 5 Plasma, says Breadmoth, if I can get rid of that stupid desktop thingy icon. Okay. Jonathan says, nice, Korora is back. Yeah, Korora, back in black. Yeah, Korora. It won't die. They multiply. Literally, we got 3 ISOs we could have checked out. I could have checked out GNOME or KDE. I spelt Korora wrong. I sure did. And of course, I'll spell it right in the actual YouTube title. You know what? I could edit this. There's no reason to leave it like this the whole time. I hope it doesn't cause the stream to crash, but you know what? I've done stranger things here than just editing the show title. There we go. I've actually played around with a lot of the overlays before live on streams. I can get OBS to crash sometimes, though, with some of the stuff I do. I've had OBS crash on me, I think, twice during live streams. Which isn't bad. I mean, 2 times since I've been doing the channel, it's crashed on me. I'd call it a pretty stable application. And bring out the GIMP. The GIMP. Paul says, I liked GIMP 1, yeah. Breadmoth, I can't get into GIMP. Just don't have the patience to learn the software. Yeah, you know what? There is a big learning curve to something like GIMP, but it's not too bad. Inkscape, there's a learning curve too. But really, once you get into like animation stuff like Blender, I would love to learn how to use Blender, but kind of like you, it's like too much. You know, it would take me too long to become like a Blender master, so I just never even bothered starting with it. All right, I missed some chat here. Things are skipping ahead on me. Sorry guys, if I missed anything important, just ask it again later. Yeah, all modern desktop environments stink. Really? Michael prefers Xfce or Budgie. Alex prefers Mate and OpenBox. Yeah, anything with OpenBox I can get behind. PCE says current Enlightenment. Good or bad? I haven't checked out Enlightenment in a little while if you were asking my opinion on it. But it's very light, very lightweight. You want something like really, really speedy and snappy, Enlightenment is about as good as you can get. GNOME without animations is the best GNOME. Michael, I did like i3 when I tried it. Yeah, I liked it too. And, you know, I'd never used i3 before I tried it on the channel for the obscure window manager project. Nice little tiling window manager. Jonathan says there's nothing like crashing Antics on camera. Yeah, you know what? I should install Antics now that I have this IC dock. I'm going to install Antics on one of my other SSDs in the IC dock, and I'm going to live stream again from Antics, and this time I'm not going to crash it. I'm still going to point the repos to the SID repos and do a 1200 package update, but I'm going to make sure I don't crash the stream when I do it this time. You know, I'll do it the day before I stream. Instead of updating, you know, that massive update right before I decide to click start streaming, that was a bad idea. I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, Paul says Enlightenment used to be the pig of window managers. Yeah. Well, you know, just 10 years ago, our computers were, you know, so much different as far as the system resources. I mean, we all complained about KDE 4 and GNOME 3 when they first came out because how slow and sluggish they were. Nowadays, you know, we wouldn't think anything of it. Okay, let me get back to Korora here. Let's get back to multimedia. All right, Asunder CD Ripper. That's an interesting choice. How many people need to rip things from CDs anymore? Huh. Audacious. Audacious is a really nice, lightweight audio player. I have nothing to play for you guys. Audacity. Audacity is fantastic. Audacity is a audio editor. I often use it when I need to edit audio here for my videos on the channel. One of the absolute best free and open source software on the planet. Audacity. I mean, just fantastic. Audio mixer. We have Handbrake, which is a encoder or transcoder. I've never actually used Handbrake, although you do see it on a lot of Linux distros, especially a lot of Linux distros that are geared toward multimedia. Pitivi. Pitivi is a video editor. I've actually used Pitivi. I normally use Kdenlive, but Pitivi is not bad. Matter of fact, most of my early videos on the channel were all edited in Pitivi initially. I believe Pitivi, is it a GNOME app? I am not sure if it's actually part of the GNOME project. It doesn't mention it, so I don't think it is. This is Pitivi version 0.99. I know it's a GTK app, but I don't think it's actually part of the GNOME suite of apps. But Pitivi is nice. But still, as far as the best free and open source video editor out there, Kdenlive is really where it's at, in my opinion. Pulse Audio is here, unfortunately. Sound Converter, VLC for another multimedia player. VLC 3.0.3. All right, under Office, okay, we have quite a bit under Office. We have our dictionary, document viewer, FB reader for ebooks, GNUmeric. And that's interesting. Why do they have GNUmeric and right behind it they have LibreOffice Calc? So two different spreadsheet programs. GNU is kind of like a lightweight, more minimal spreadsheet program. Of course, LibreOffice Calc is, you know, our free and open source alternative to Microsoft Excel. We have basically the LibreOffice suite installed. We have Calc, Draw, Impress, Writer, Calendar, and Global Time are listed again here. And Project Management, Planner Project Management. Planner 0.14.6, a project management application for the GNOME desktop. So I guess that's one of the GNOME utilities there. And then settings. Settings, of course, is going to include, you know, settings for desktop, keyboard, file manager, display, the usual suspects here. Window manager. Now, that's interesting. We can, this looks like a, yeah, our window manager. So we can change the theme. I might play with some of the theming here in just a second. All right. Back to the chat for a second. Voice Love says, are you using a stereo mic? I hear you much higher on the left speaker. Yeah, I have a Blue Yeti. It's not set to stereo, though. Set to cardioid, the setting on it. I do have problems with this Blue Yeti mic sometimes, though. One of the problems with the Blue Yeti mic, it's a fantastic mic. The sound's pretty good on it. It's very sensitive. That's one downside of it. But the micro USB port, it's not a micro USB port, mini USB port on the top of the mic that, of course, plugs into the computer, standard USB port on the computer. The mini USB port on the mic itself is not good. It's loose. I've tried two different cables, bought two different cables for the thing, and the port is loose, the cables are loose, there's some kind of short in it. If I move this mic around, the mic will quit working because, again, the fit is not good on that thing. Sometimes, of course, the mic will turn off completely, but sometimes the sound will get all weird. Like, it'll kind of work, but it doesn't really work. Like, recently I made a video and I didn't realize it, but I guess there was some kind of short in the cable. And there was this really annoying buzz. And it wasn't really a buzz, it was kind of like a spike in sound every now and then. And it happened at a regular, like, 1 second interval for the entire 30-minute video. I mean, it wasn't loud, like you could hear it, especially if you're listening to me on computer speakers, but if you were listening on earbuds, you heard it, and it was annoying as hell. And again, it wasn't a problem with my computer, software, or anything like that. It is, for some reason, these Blue Yeti microphones, and I've had other people tell me the same thing, the cords that they ship with are not good, and that port that the cord plugs into sometimes, it's just not a good fit. So the cord has too much play in it, and you move that thing around, and sometimes you get weird stuff going on with the mic. Or sometimes the mic will just turn itself off. Like if I bump my desk right now, and for some reason I bump it hard enough that the mic shakes a little bit, and that cord jiggles, it might actually unplug itself. And I'll be sitting here and I'll be making a video, and you know, sometimes, you know, I do long clips, you know, 15, 20 minutes, you know, unedited. And I go back to listen to them, and guess what? There's no audio. And then I have to redo the whole thing. So, it's one of the things that's really been bugging me with this Blue Yeti microphone. Again, if it worked, it's a fantastic microphone, but the problems I've been having with the cord and the mini USB port on the mic, I probably will eventually move to a different mic. All right. Let's see, do we actually want to play with the themes? You guys know me, yes I do. So we're using the ARC theme, but we have a ton of other themes to try. What is Adept? Okay, that is just the, so this is just the window manager theme, so the border and the frames. Pretty cool stuff. ARC. And what I like ARC dark, so let's go with that, and I will change the GTK themed Arc Dark in a bit. Matter of fact, where would I find that? I think it was under, if I go to settings, the window manager tweaks. No. What if I just do a search for themes? No, that doesn't work either. Or like a settings manager somewhere here. Yep. I go to appearance. There we go. Arc Dark. All right. For icons, Numix. Numix is really nice. They do Numix Circle. That's actually one of the things that Korora is well known for. It's the fact that they use really good themes like Arc and really good icon sets. Numix in particular, they're well known for using Numix. But you know what? They have elementary Xfce, elementary Xfce Dark. Oh, that's not too bad. But really, the only thing that's really here, no Numix, and I probably would just stick with Numix. Yeah. Let's see what kind of wallpapers we have to choose from. Is there anything here? Yeah, they have a few things here. It's just taking a long time to load. They had that many wallpapers that it actually took a minute for this to load up. I'll just cycle through some of these so you guys can check them out. Some of these I've seen before. I might have seen some of these actually in the previous release of Korora. Beautiful wallpaper packs though. Really nice photos and some abstract art as well. Yeah, good stuff. Really good stuff here. Yeah, I'm a sucker for good wallpapers. Yeah, I definitely have seen that one before. I think that was one of the default wallpapers in the previous Korora, or it might have been in the previous Fedora as well. Yeah, that's really nice too. Let's see, let's go back to the default one for now. And I'm going to try to catch up on all the chat. I know I've missed a ton of chat, and I hope Firefox will let me go back and see some of the chat I've missed. Firefox is really buggy with the YouTube chat sometimes. Sometimes it skips ahead and jumps ahead to where I can't find my place anymore. Tim says, what is the i3 that you have talked about, DT? i3 is a tiling window manager, Tim. Very popular tiling window manager. I've done one video that I remember on i3. And I need to do more on i3. I just haven't had the time to really take a look at it too much. I do have i3 installed on my main production machine. I never log into that session, the i3 session, here on Manjaro. But I actually do, I installed Manjaro's i3 edition on my main computer. It's just, I also installed Qtile, which I'm living in. I installed Xmonad, another tiling window manager that I sometimes log into and use. All right. And yeah, question about my mic. Yeah, I'm not sure what might be going on there. I'll have to actually listen back to the stream and make sure, you know, something weird wasn't going on with my mic. Again, I'm probably eventually going to have to change this mic out just because of the problems I have with the cord and the mini USB port on it. It does cause me a lot of problems. And I mentioned that Firefox gives me a lot of problems and sometimes skips ahead in the chat, and it just skipped ahead like 200 messages ahead. I have absolutely no idea where I'm at now. Okay, I think I found my spot. Yeah, by the way, DT, do you prefer snaps or flat pack? That's from Jura. Hope I pronounced that right. Snaps, flat packs, they both work. The only thing is, with both of them, sometimes your theming can be a little off with them as far as, you know, your window manager or your GTK themes. But snaps, flatpaks, they're the same. You know, these containerized packages with all your dependencies that help you install stuff. You know, they're distro agnostic for the most part. We could get rid of the systemd requirement for it. That'd be nice. But yeah, I have no problems with. I've used a lot of snaps before. Installed some stuff with Flatpaks. I'm sure app images are great too. So, I'm not sure why you would prefer one over the other. We can have them all. So it's not like you got to take one and leave the rest. You can install snaps, Flatpaks, and app images all on your system. It won't harm anything. So yeah, Paul says Gentoo takes a long time to install. Thanks for sharing that, Paul. All right, I might have to skip some of the chat here. Yeah, and the McBird says, sounds like torture. Installing Gentoo? No, it's not bad. I would not call an install without X to be a working install. You know, Paul, still talking about Gentoo. Yeah, when you install things like Gentoo or Arch or these more kind of minimal distros, of course, when you do a base install, yeah, you don't have the X server on it. And the reason you don't have it is because what if you wanted to actually do a server? You know, you wanted something without any kind of GUI. You know, Xorg in that case would be unnecessary bloat. And people, I mean, I've heard of people using things like Arch and Gentoo as servers, even though that's not really what they were meant to be. They're not meant to be server distros. But again, the point of, you know, things like Gentoo is, you know, building the system exactly to your specs. There are some masochists out there that just live in the shell and don't want any kind of graphical environment at all. Yeah, Hank says the app image guys helped me out. Now it's as simple as making it an executable and then it's fully working. No other dependencies needed. Yep. Yeah, Linus made Linux to be a desktop OS. Did he now? Linus made the kernel, but I'm not sure he, as far as what you build on top of the kernel, I mean, I don't know if he has a problem with people using the Linux kernel on server operating systems or mobile operating systems like Android. Or I'm sure Linus is actually quite proud that the Linux kernel is pretty much everywhere, on everything from toaster ovens to the radios in your car. Yeah. Paul says Linus has talked about this. You can take it up with him. Yeah, I need to drop Linus a line sometime. If he'll come on the show, hang out with us. That's just stopping by. Hey, DT, says Linux Terminal. How you doing, sir? Tears falling. I'm new to i3. How hard is it to set up for normal use? It's not terribly difficult. And, you know, just watch some videos on YouTube. I've got an i3 video. I didn't go that in depth, but watch my video. But there's other videos that go a little more in depth. The main thing is you have to write a config file, but it's not that difficult. And if you find it difficult, just go steal somebody else's configuration file. Download it from GitHub or GitLab. Or that's usually what I do, you know, on these tiling window managers, especially when I'm new to them. I just go borrow somebody else's config and tweak it to my liking. And Paul says, you'd better believe Linus uses X Windows too. Breadmaw says Linus hates GNOME 3. Yeah, he did make that comment that, what did he say? GNOME is an unholy mess, I believe was this famous quote about that. Timo says, later DT, you and Toss are the best, my friend. Have a great day. Thank you, Timo. I'll catch up with you later, buddy. Yeah, Linus has a lot to say about desktop environments. Yeah, yeah, but I imagine the kind of work Linus does, he can probably get work done using any desktop environment. Yeah, you should try Numix circle icons. Yeah, Well, that's the default icon set here in Korora. Yeah, Linux Terminal says, I'll admit that Xfce is rock solid and fast, so good choice. Wallpaper is passe. Daniel Kovacs, how you doing, sir? He says, hi, DT. Yeah, I like Pale Moon, yep. Mr. GFY, good morning. How you doing? Jarko says, I don't use flat, snap, or app images. Well, we found the Arch user, guys, Jarko. And I say that half jokingly, but if you're an Arch user, because of the AUR, you really don't have to use things like flat pack, snap packs, app images, because all your stuff probably is in the AUR. Jonathan Clark says, Clover OS is Gentoo based and it installs super fast. That is correct, Jonathan. I did a video on Clover OS about 3 weeks ago. Paul says, hey Derek, how you doing, Paul? Good to see you, sir. Dviz, he had a question. How do you do things like online payments or something? Hashtag security. Well, I mean, I just do them on my Linux machines. If you trust the website, it's not a problem. I can go to my bank's website. No issues. Main thing is stay off of shady websites. As far as do you trust your OS doing that sort of thing, I wouldn't do any kind of online banking or anything on a Windows partition. If I had a Linux partition, you know, I would always log into Linux. But even, you know, I mean, if you were Windows only, still, as long as you stay on the correct websites, don't go to any of the shadier areas of the internet and give anybody, you know, personal information. Yeah, Serge says, look at how Gentoo is chosen over Fedora for a server. Yeah, let me click on that. Is that a news article? A similar tech, okay. Oh, it's got a breakdown. And let me pull that up. We'll let everybody check this out. All right. So similar tech, yep. So Fedora, 35,000 sites. Gentoo, 103,000 sites. I can believe that. Gentoo probably is used more on the servers than Fedora. Because why would you put Fedora on a server when you have things like Red Hat, CentOS? Anyway, Serge put the link in the chat for you guys that want to check this out. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's breaking it down. Some nice little graphs and some maps. So Gentoo is leading in most countries, including Russia, US, France, Czech Republic. Fedora is leading in the Netherlands, Japan, Italy, Taiwan. Okay. Actually, it's not a very long page, so. Interesting nonetheless. Thank you, Serge. Getting back to Korora here. Wonder how many updates there are. I said I wasn't going to update, but we're getting toward the end of the stream here. So I might actually run an update just to see how many packages are available. Where was that update tool? The DNF Trigora tool. Oh, we still got a bunch of stuff in the sys tray up here. What is this? That's the Ikiga, whatever video chat client. Our clipboard manager. Presentation mode, power manager settings, on cloud. Didn't realize I had all that stuff in the sys tray up there. Oh, I didn't want to check all of that. Let me close that out. Maybe I should just do it in the command line. I'm so bad with GUI. Well, it's been so long since I've used Fedora. What is it? DNF update or DNF upgrade? And it's sudo installed. we'll find out. DT is not in the sudo horse file, so now we know. Okay, so there's 76 packages to update. I will not do that on camera because that will take a minute and it will make the stream just completely wig out when it starts pulling all those packages down from the internet. All right. DT, you use some time Smuxy IRC chat. I don't hang out on IRC chat channels very much. Most of those are support channels, and I rarely actually use IRC myself. If I do, though, I use a terminal client called Xfce, IRSSI. I have it installed here on my Manjaro system. But I don't do much with IRC myself. Yeah, at this point I wonder what is more widespread, Linux or Minix? Minix is inside all the Intel CPUs and runs on all Intel systems without the user knowing. Yeah, wasn't Minix Unix or a Unix clone? McBird, DT, ever tried NixOS? I tried it once on the channel. It was an interesting video because I knew nothing about NixOS. When I went into it, it was going to be one of these where I just go in blind and let's just see what happens. And that is not the kind of distro you want to go into blind. It took me about 3 hours to get NixOS installed. I should actually take a look at NixOS again on the channel now that I kind of know what it's about. If I'd have knew what it was going into it, I would have never made that earlier video I made on it. Yeah, Unix is a trademark. That is correct. I'm not sure who owns that that trademark now, but yes, that's why all these Unix-like operating systems, they can't call themselves Unix. They have to call themselves something else. So, Mr. Mayday, hi DT. How you doing, Mr. Mayday? Michael, I use the AUR a lot. Heck yeah, I love the AUR. The AUR is fantastic. The only problem with the AUR, of course, is, you know, install times are slow. I mean, it has to build them from source, compile times are slow. And if you install a ton of stuff from the AUR and then you try to update, you know, everything you've ever installed from the AUR, you know, plan on your machine being busy for a couple hours at least. Again, because of compile times. Yeah, Breadmoth, you'd like to see DT do a review of Solaris-based distro, something like Open Indiana. I've thought about doing Open Indiana. We may do that one. Yeah, I'm not opposed to checking out Open Indiana. We may do that. I probably will do that eventually. Timo, later, my friend. Got to get the day going, getting ready tomorrow. Have a great week. Yeah, I actually can't stay too much longer here. I actually have to go to work here. I'm going to have to kill the stream actually in a few minutes. So, any of you got anything, last words to say? I'm probably going to kill the stream in, I don't know, about 5 minutes or so. Yeah, Fedora is a lab rat distro. Oh. I finally started playing with OpenBox and Manjaro. Not bad, but I needed to spend more time with it. Yeah, Paul. Yeah. Manjaro has an OpenBox edition you can check out too, Paul. It's a community edition, but it's not bad. Or if you just want to build it yourself exactly to your specs, a good way to do it is install Manjaro's i3 edition, pretty bare bones system in itself, and then install i3 on that. I mean, OpenBox on that. Of course, you have an i3 session as well. Might want to play around with that too. Hank says on serious servers, Ubuntu server is the newest I would go. As far as you're looking for something stable, yeah. Ubuntu LTS server is good. Debian, of course. CentOS. Yeah, Surge. Sudo DNF update, yeah. course, in my case, I guess on Korora I have to SU instead of sudo. Yeah, Alan, Qtile, is this a new window manager? No, Qtile has actually been around for a while. It's just nobody knows about it. And one of the good things about my channel is, you know, I'm kind of a fan of Qtile. I've actually used it for years off and on. And it seems a lot of you guys have been checking out Qtile. A lot of you guys seem to like it. And that's great because I really think that project needs more attention. You go to you know, subreddits like Unix porn, and you see all these screenshots of 24 different tiling window managers. Of course, a lot of i3 and Awesome and Xmonad and, you know, all these tiling window managers most people have heard of. You will never see a screenshot with somebody using Qtile. It's like nobody knows about it. This window manager doesn't even exist, and I don't know why, because A, it's fantastic. B, fantastic documentation. C, it's actually got a development team around it, active too. So it's worth checking out. If you're into tiling window managers, definitely check out Qtile sometime. I think you'll be impressed. Yeah, Unix is trademark of AT&T. Okay. And then we get the question again. By the way, do you prefer snaps or flat packs, and why? I don't prefer either one of them. They all work. Snaps, flat packs, app images. And you don't have to prefer one over the other. You can use them all. And I have. So, what time is it there, Derek? It's 10 a.m. here. 10 a.m. Sunday morning. Jonathan says, have a great day at work. Yeah, I hope so. We'll see. Working on a Sunday. Wish I had a Sunday off, but not this week. I actually worked all weekend. I've actually, the last week and a half, 2 weeks, I've had a really busy time at my real job. Well, I haven't done as much on the channel in the last couple of weeks as I normally do. Starting to catch up with me. I'm going to take a vacation soon, though. You guys will know about it when it happens. Take like a week off. Go somewhere. Take a real trip. Like get in my car and just drive somewhere. Where I end up, who knows. Triscoll is cool, says user. Yeah. Yeah, Paul says, I'll try that, Derek. Thanks. Yep. Yes, Sudo Reboot. Morning, Derek. Hope you're well. How you doing, Sudo? Surprised you're not live streaming right now. Seems like you're always on. Yeah, I'm surprised so many people use i3 instead of BSPWM. Yeah, BSPWM I'm actually running on this laptop behind me. That is Arco Linux BSPWM's edition. Yeah. Alan says, oh nice, you answered, Derek. Thank you. You're welcome, sir. Yeah, Amiga guy, greetings, DT. Greetings, Amigo. I'm actually got to kill the stream here in a bit. I got to get going. I got to go to the job. Got to go work hard for the money. So hard for the money. Yeah, handsome, you installed Qtile on LMDE3. Nice. Yeah, thanks for the look at Korora later, says Ron. Yeah. Enjoy work. Thanks, Gibran. It was fun fragging you the other night, Gibran, in Ballistic Overkill. I like having other new players when I play things like Ballistic Overkill. That way it doesn't seem that I'm so bad. Even though I am. Yeah, Timo asking, where do I work? Oh, well, we won't go into the details, but I work in retail. Work for a large retail company. Sudo, make me a coffee. Yeah, I'm gonna make me a second cup before I go. Anyway. Yeah, I love Ballistic, but I'm terrible at it. Says, yeah. Present arms. It says, good morning. You're here at the end of the stream. Present. We're just about to kill it. I've got to get going here. Got to get to work. DViz. DT. Awesome. May God bless you. Oh, thank you, sir. Yeah, I work in a call center. Enough said. Red Moth, yeah. Clive, Walmart? No, I'm not at Walmart. Large retailer, but not that large. That's Walmart. That's gigantic. Yeah. Red Moth, I hate people. No, you seem like a people person though, Bread Moth. Why do you hate people? That's yeah. Minerva says greetings from Poland. How are you doing? Yeah, 95 views, only 33 thumbs. Yeah, thumbs up. Glad you mentioned that before we go here. Present arms. You guys have enjoyed this. Please do like the video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. Like, subscribe, shares. They help. They help the channel grow. Help me rank better in the YouTube algorithms. More eyes on this content, more eyes on Linux content. So hopefully people, discover things like Korora 28. Bring more people over to our side and away from the dark side of Windows and Mac. Anyway. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and shut down the stream. I do want to thank everybody for hanging out with me this evening, or this morning actually. We still got a few people in the chat. Thank you, Omega, Ansem, Bread Moth, Clive, Costas, Dviz, Gibran, Jonathan, Melwin, Michael, Minerva, all the Pauls that are still hanging out. Present. You were late, but thanks for joining us here at the end. Q1, Ron, Sudu, yeah, Tears, Timo had to go. User. Thank you guys for still hanging out. Of course, before I go, I do need to do my special thanks to my patrons, all my Patreon supporters, and I'm talking about AK, Alan, Alex, Ansem, Tony, Bart, Benjamin, Ben, Bruno, Brian, Carlos, Christian, Chuck, Dan, the other Dan, Daniel, David, the other David, Eduardo, Greg, Humade, Interceptor, Jake, John, Carl, Katrina, Keith, Leor, Marcus, the other Marcus, Mark, Martin, Matthias, Michael, Mr. GFY, Mr. Smarty Pants, Mr. Neely Pops, Paul, Rob, Robert, Ron, Silvio, Steven, the other Steven, and yet another Steven, so many Stevens, Swami, Tiedemann, Voice Love, to Bella, John, you guys rock. You guys help make this show possible. Peace, guys.